Hello everybody, welcome to Poly Games. I'm your host Joseph, and today we're going to be doing our first impressions of the Nintendo Switch. Here it is in all of its glory. We did our unboxing, now we're going to do our impressions 3 days after the fact. I've played it in multiple different variations, whether it's in the mobile mode, kickstand mode, and the TV mode, for a number of amount of hours. I've taken this with me wherever I've gone to test out how portable this console really is. So before we get into what I liked and what I didn't like, all that yada yada, I want to tell you guys my mindset going into buying this machine. I was excited to see what this console can do because I was always, as a child, my dream was to have a console experience on a mobile unit. I've always wanted that as a kid and really wanted to see if this really lived up to what it is, a console experience on the go. Now, what I didn't like was the Nintendo's conference after the fact, and it took me a little bit of convincing to get back on board to actually purchase this on day one. But when I did purchase it, I was excited, but I've been a little bit skeptical of it. So, with that said, how do I like this console so far? Well, first, let's talk about the power of this console, shall we? Because this has gotten shit on every which way. A lot of people are comparing this to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. To me, I don't see the correlation. Only when I'm putting it in the TV mode into the dock do I see, yes, it's a home console. But to me, I'm looking at this more as a portable device than a home console. For that, seeing the form factor of this is the console, this is it. This is what is powering the machine. This is the machine. Seeing how small it is, it's just a little bit fatter than a, iPhone 7 Plus. It's the same thickness as a PlayStation 4 case. Seeing all of that, the power that comes out of here is actually super impressive. Seeing Breath of the Wild, seeing the draw distances, how large it is, and it stuns me. There's several points while I'm playing this game of how did they get it on this little machine? And the other thing that surprises me as well is how silent and how cool this thing runs. I played it for about 2 hours straight at a Starbucks the other day, and it got lukewarm. It didn't get hot, it just got lukewarm. Whenever you're playing this on a mobile setting or on the kickstand, not on TV mode, it doesn't get hot. It only gets hot when it's actually on the dock itself. Other than that, it's actually a really awesome and cool experience. I don't hear the fan almost ever. I actually have to put my ear to the system to actually hear the fan running. It's really cool compared to the PlayStation 4 or the PlayStation 4 Pro. You hear that fucking jet engine out of the machine. You don't hear that out of this one. That's really awesome, and it helps because of the mobile architecture in it to do all of that jazz. Mobile is great. The kickstand is actually a surprise feature that I thought was going to be so throwaway, and I actually ended up loving it. It was fantastic when I'm laying down at night. I'm playing with the console, with the Joy-Cons like nunchucks, and just lying down being comfortable with it. I'm comfortable no matter if I'm playing it on the mobile setting, on the kickstand, or on the TV setting. It's fantastic to play because it's so versatile of a console, and the controllers as well are also super versatile. Again, my favorite mode for the controller is actually the nunchuck feature, which is again a big surprise to me. I didn't think I would like this setup, but I actually really do, and it got me thinking, for those people who have, physical ailments, who are disabled, they get to play video games that I've kind of taken advantage of, and they get to play it like me and like so many others. They're not stuck having to go to some third party to get a special engineered controller that's going to cost them hundreds of dollars. They got it right out of the box. And to me, that is the biggest innovation of this console, are these Joy-Cons and what they're able to do. It's a really awesome thing. Now, before I say what I don't like about the Joy-Cons, I want to get onto the UI for a second. The UI to me is the best UI Nintendo has made to date. They listened to our feedback when it came to the Wii U's UI, which was garbage, it was horrible, it was slow, it was messy, it was cumbersome. This one is simple, you can even say bare bones, and it is super fast. It's common sense UI. Anybody could pick it up and understand it and get where everything is. Whether you're a parent, whether you're a grandparent, a kid, a parent has no idea about technology, you're able to access this to little to no problem whatsoever, and that's fantastic. Now, there's no Hulu, there's no Netflix, But I don't need those things. I have an Amazon Fire Stick. I have a Apple TV, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, littered throughout the house, a Roku, littered throughout this house. I don't need another device that plays Netflix. And I don't need a web browser as well. I have an iPhone for that. So I love how it's a gaming system first, and then they'll look maybe to Netflix or Hulu later on down the line when they get this baby fully operational like the Death Star. What I don't like about the console are actually small things, considering. There's a few big things that I don't like. The one thing I actually am not the biggest fan of is this, the Joy-Con grip. Now, don't get me wrong. It's okay. It's not the worst thing in the world by all means. But when you're holding it up to other controllers like a PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, which you can compare them because they're all controllers, this one just doesn't hold up. It is great on the mobile feature. It's great when it's in the nunchuck feature. But for my hands, it's a little bit too small for me. I feel cramped and my fingers hit the back of this controller, which gives me the Vietnam flashbacks I got when I was playing with the 360 and hitting the tumor of the AA battery holders in the back as well. It's a little bit too cramped for me, but with people with small hands, children, this isn't going to be the biggest problem, but I would suggest you might want to pick up a Pro controller because this thing is awesome. But that's another video entirely. The other thing I don't like, and these are small, super small things, that there is only one audio jack, and that is on the system itself. There's no audio jack on the Joy-Cons. There is no audio jack on the controller. There's no audio jack to be found other than on the system itself. And you go, Joe, what's the problem with that? Well, usually you have your console feet away from you. So you don't get to have the awesome surround sound speakers on this console because it's just too far away for you. It also has no wireless headset feature in it as well. So you can't have or plug in, any type of wireless headset, USB, and have fun with it. It's just not going to work. There are some issues with it when it comes to the audio functionality, but the other big feature that's missing from this that just seems so basic is this. When we look at this dock, you see that there's not a lot of ports. There's 2 USB in the back, 1 in the back as well, and then a USB-C, and then 1 HDMI port. There's a lot of ports here that are missing. There's no optical port. There is no Ethernet port, which is a big concern for me because I don't think the Wi-Fi antenna on here is the greatest, because when I'm upstairs in my room and not down here where the router is, I have a lot of problems connecting to the internet. I'm working with about half signal strength, and that's just a no-go for me. When I'm playing online, I want to have the best connection so that I do good when I'm playing games like Splatoon in the future. The other big thing, and this is actually the big complaint here, other than no Ethernet port to me, is this case itself is flawed. This will scratch your Nintendo Switch console. The ridges here are a little bit too sharp and it scratches the screen. If you're not careful enough, it will easily scratch the screen. So I do advise everybody to go out there, buy a screen protector, get the friends that know how to apply one really good on, and then you're good to go. Or just be really careful with this. If you're a parent, make sure you're the one connecting the Switch into the console and not your kid. Now, the last major problem that I do have with the Nintendo Switch is the memory portion of it. 32 gigs in 2017, that's just a no-go. That's laughable. It really should have been 64 or 128. Seeing how small these little, SD cards are, there was no really big issue to go out there and put 128 gigs into this little console. They probably did it because they wanted to make this console as cost effective as possible, and I understand that. I don't like that. So again, 32 gigs is laughable. At the end of the day, it's actually 29 gigs because of the OS inside of it, and there's already some games that are actually too big to load onto the system itself. So again, you're gonna have to go out there, buy an SD card. I bought a 64 gig for those games that you want to download, which it sucks. This console would be excellent to just download a bunch of games onto and have a digital storefront on the system. It sucks that there really isn't any. So again, that's the biggest bummer of this console. And when the biggest bummer is that there's not enough memory and maybe the holder isn't the best, it really is a great console, you guys. I'm surprised of how much fun I've had with it for as long as I have right now. Thought I'd play this for a day or two, get bored of it, toss it aside, and that's just not the case. Breath of the Wild is an amazing, amazing game, and the experiences that I'm having on this console, I'm happy to say that this will be my secondary console for the most part. I will be playing all my indie titles on this. I will be playing all my Nintendo titles on this, and I'll be probably using my Xbox One and my PS4 for my AAA games. EA's Mass Effect Andromeda, I'll probably play that on the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4. You won't see those games on the Switch, unfortunately, I don't think. But I hopefully we see this console have a brighter future than it did with the Wii U. I feel like it is capable of having that. I feel like people are aware of this console and what it is. I see a lot of casual families walk up in Target and Best Buy a couple days ago saying, hey, when is this coming back in stock? We really want one. We're seeing every time I go into a Best Buy or a Target. The other day I was looking for an external battery. There was always a crowd surrounding this thing and wondering when it would get back in stock. So I do think that this console has a future. If Nintendo's smart and gets third parties on the back of this console, if we could see a 360 port of GTA 5 on this console, that's gonna sell this fucking console. If we get to see a Pokemon game on this console this year, it's gonna be fantastic. We have a Legend of Zelda game, Mario Kart, Splatoon, and a Mario game coming out this year for this console. That's awesome, and you don't see that with any other of the competition the first year they launch a major console. So I do love the Switch. I'm surprised I'm saying that. I'm surprised after all my negativity towards Nintendo that I've actually come to really enjoy this console more so than I ever have on a launch system. I'm playing Legend of Zelda like it's my job, like I'm getting paid for it. It is breathtaking, this console and the game itself, that I understand why there's not a big lineup, because everybody's playing Legend of Zelda. It's a 10 out of 10 game. It is possibly a game of this generation. I have not played a game that great since Bloodborne, and it has even torn me away from Horizon, and I don't even regret it. It's that good of a console. So at the end of the day, would I recommend this to people? With a long story short, absolutely. If you are that type of person who wants a mobile console to act more like a home console, this is the console for you. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you're a Vita owner as well, I can see you really enjoying this console as well. So, escape Vita Island, come to Switchland. It's fantastic. It's kind of like the Switzerland of video games. So please, this console, it is worth the $300 if you want to use that mobile feature. If you're only using this as the TV mode, then there is better out there. You have the PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, but if you're willing to make this a versatile console, then it's going to be worth your money. I have no regrets so far. I'm really enjoying it, and I can't wait to have our podcast on it on Thursday, where I'm going to bring all my friends who have their Switches and see how they're liking it so far. So with all that said and all that out of the way, yes, I love this console. I like it a lot. I can't believe I'm saying that about a Nintendo console. Jesus. So please, like, share, subscribe. Let me know how you like your Switch if you own one out there. Let me know in the comments section down below. Let's start a conversation about it, shall we? If you have any questions I didn't answer in this video, let me know as well in the comments section down below, and I will answer each and every one of them for you. With all that said, everybody, have a great day.